This is Uncover the Music, Boots and Hearts Edition. Exclusive interviews with the artists and talented people making this year's festival happen. Presented by BarrieUncovered.ca. So behind the scenes here at Boots and Hearts with John and James, the Abrams brothers. Thanks very much, guys, for coming in.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to meet in person, right?
Of course, yeah. I loved the podcast that we did. That was so fun.
It was a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I'm a big podcast fan, so thank you for having us on, dude.
Absolutely. Uncover the music, so you guys can listen to other episodes that we've done before.
I will. No, I will.
So, Boots and Hearts, you're back. Another performance. I know it's not fair to compare performances, but how did you feel today out there compared to other Boots and Hearts performances?
Yeah, James and I are so encouraged to see our fans grow every time we play. This morning we played or this afternoon we played at Front Porch stage, and it was so packed over there. It was a great time. People were so on fire for the music here, and Boots has really become. I think the great thing about Boots is everybody's always understood it to be quite a party. But the more and more this festival grows organically, I see how much people are engaged with the music as listeners too, and that's really something special about this place.
And you guys brought something with you, new single, Good Old Days. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Good Old Days, which we played earlier today, which was really fun, especially on the day that we're releasing it. But it's as John says, it's really autobiographical, and it really it's both in our relationships with John's wife and my fiance. We really try to take in the moments and take in the moment, and that's something that you can easily, when you're thinking about or working for tomorrow, it's easy to miss what's going on right now. And so that song is definitely about that, and it's also very much in some of the lyrics about the journey that John and I have had growing up and playing music. It feels like forever now since we were very young, but driving in a beat-up van and those sorts of things is very much about the sort of touring life that we have lived our entire lives. Eh, John?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it really does capture so much of the magic that James and I have shared over all these years. And of course, it's got this high energy feel to it. I think one thing that we've always wanted to really do is capture that live energy that we get on stage. And this song really it feels like a good snapshot of that.
And you guys mentioned touring, driving around in a beat-up van. You guys have a pretty unique. I don't know if you're the only artist, but you're certainly the only artist I've encountered that you drive your own bus. Is that right?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah, we drove it here today. And what's great is it's not like that new. It's a little older, and that's what we like about it. It's the style of. It's like the bus. It's a Silver Eagle bus, and they don't make them anymore. And it was the style of bus that was. That lots of 80s rock bands and stuff used, and why we really like that is because that was something that very much inspired this EP Reminder that's coming out, or you can pre-order now, and it has 3 songs already released, with Good Old Days being the 3rd today. And so having that vibe just around us and it definitely has that sort of nostalgia, eh, John?
Sure. That 80s and 90s rock nostalgia, 80s and 90s country nostalgia is very prevalent in this new record. And I mean, we're touring around in a 1992 Silver Eagle that was formerly owned by Sawyer Brown, the country band. So there's a lot of music in those walls, man.
So have you found anything from those days from Sawyer Brown and those old days? Any disco?
Pretty good.
If you took a layer of paint off the back of it, you would find, and we would find, a wonderfully painted scene of running horses through a meadow. So
who put that on there?
I think it was. That's what we think. So we could find that if we wanted to. It's like a truck stop T-shirt. A couple horses sauntering through the.
You guys got to do a documentary just about the bus.
Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, that's kind of what our Instagram through our tour, our Sounds Good to Me tour that we embarked on throughout the U.S. We were down there for about 18 shows, and then after that we went overseas. But a lot of that was centered around us being in that bus touring throughout the U.S. And so kind of our Instagram has really become kind of like a documentary of the bus, because it really captures all the little moments we have out with it.
And is it at the Abrams, or what's the Instagram?
At the Abrams Music. Yeah.
So we don't let anybody go without, we call it Uncover the Music. We uncover 5 truths about every single participant, but you have to swear to tell the truth, okay? Okay, here we go. Uncovered 5. Question number 1, name of the first person you kissed.
Name first person to guess. A girl named Katie Brower. She was my first girlfriend, and she used to come to all our bluegrass shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tanya Abrams, my mother.
Not. Good.
Take
Okay.
longer to think on that one.
Second one. I think I know the answer to this because you guys are fourth generation musicians. Name of the first job you had.
First job, like outside of music?
No, just your first job.
Music.
Yeah, music.
No, well, I'm going to say...
Paper route or something? Or?
Well, no, well, I ended up, I had to do a bunch of, it was like 6 acres of gardening. So I weeded and did all that. So that's a job. That was a serious job, man. Well, and actually, we grew up actually doing like every job you can think of at our grandparents' place every summer. We would, even as monotonous as going into the woods, and literally it was like make work projects. It was like our grandfather would say, boys, essentially just to get us out of the house, go into the woods and pick up all the sticks. I need some kindling. I want to see that forest real bare. Pick up all the sticks.
Days picking up sticks in the woods, and we could.
Oh my God.
The toughest job is one that never ends. You know what I mean?
Like the sticks.
That's the one that never. There's no way to pick up all the sticks in the woods. So we just
We went all summer and never finished the project, and it just felt awful.
I've never heard that job before quoted on this podcast ever. A name of a movie or a TV show that you're embarrassed to admit that you paid money to see.
Oh, I know I have a good answer for this.
Okay, so actually I don't even pay for Netflix because I steal off of my girlfriend's mother. But anyways, essentially, let's say I paid for it. Gilmore Girls. I love Gilmore Girls.
That's a good bad one.
Yeah, that's a good bad one.
John.
James and I, we were in Nashville one time. We were down writing, and we went to go see a movie. And I should have known because February isn't a great month for movie releases in theaters, but I didn't really appreciate that then. We went to go see Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters. Okay.
Is that the one with Matt Damon or?
No, the other guy, Jeremy Renner.
Oh, right.
And
The movie you're talking about with Matt Damon, that one was bad
was
too.
awful,
It was
too.
kind of like
Well,
a
that was
Robin
the
Hood-esque
Coen
thing.
brothers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
right,
that was
right.
actually. That
Hansel
was
and Gretel, Witch Hunters was a pretty rough deal. And James and I left there feeling like, man, why did we spend that much money?
I didn't go back to the theater for 2 years. I'm not kidding. I felt like I was so cheated.
James was cheated. And I think we saw it in 3D, so it was like more expensive.
So last one, if you could invite any person living or dead to the pub for a pint, who would it be?
Oh, well, if Jesus drank, he did. Yeah, it'd be good to catch up with him. But no, I think it'd be pretty cool to hang out with. Let me think. No, you know what? Really? I thought you bring it.
Anybody. Yeah, anybody.
No.
Someone alive and then you get stuck.
I mean, it's hard not to say you wouldn't like to talk with Johnny Cash about his life and about his life on the road, the struggles he had, the things he overcame, and because James and I, we've had a lot of years on the road. Thankfully, we've always been very supportive of one another. We haven't had, we've had highs and lows, but we've never, really had to go through really tough times without each other, right? So I think the nice thing is we've got that to reflect on, but it would be really cool to be able to chat with him.
I would say Stompin' Tom. I never got to really see him perform, honestly, and so Stompin' Tom would, and just to chat about, because that's someone that really understood what it was like to go and play every little bar in Canada, and his
Real
his
lived
knowledge-
experience.
His knowledge of all the different types of people in Canada would be insane. So just chatting about that, and
Yeah, I agree with James. That'd be awesome.
Awesome, guys. Thank you, John, James. We appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, man.
So you guys will come back on the podcast maybe later on in the year or something?
Please have us back. We love chatting with you, man.
love it. I'm telling you, I'm a big podcast. I'm gonna be looking, man.
We love podcasts. Did we tell you that?
So behind the scenes at Boots and Hearts for Uncover the Music Boots and Hearts edition, and we're joined by Tennille Arts. Thank you very much, Tennille, for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So the first question, how often do you get asked, is Arts your actual last name?
like all the time, very often.
See, it feels like you should be able to get a T-shirt say, yes, Arts is really my last name. Can we get on with the interview, please?
Yeah, I should probably put that in like my Instagram bio or something.
Yeah, seriously, right? So huge year and a half for you, really. Where does Boots and Hearts rank in terms of sort of what's happening with you and your career?
I think it's such an amazing way to, kind of end the summer. I know there's a few weeks left, but for me, I came to Boots and Hearts as an emerging artist in 2015 and did their whole competition and everything. So it's really, really cool, and it feels great to be able to come back and be an actual artist performing on the stage. It's
quite an evolution, isn't it? You're going from somebody who's kind of trying to get noticed, now you're an actual artist that is getting that sort of recognition.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I could hope for, so it's great. It just feels like another stepping stone.
And you had another quite a big accomplishment a couple of months ago. You're one of just a few, I don't know how many, but maybe one or two Canadian artists to sing the national anthem at an NBA Finals experience. Raptors won, of course. So what was that experience like, singing the national anthem in front of 50 million people on ABC?
It was amazing. I tried to not think about the fact that 50 million people were watching, but it was super nerve-wracking, but also just one of those moments where you just kind of have to take it all in, because you're like, when would I ever get this chance again?
It's an easy song to remember, of course, you can sing it forever, but you don't want to be one of those trending videos that go, hashtag worst national anthem evers, right?
Oh my God, that would be awful.
And Metallica sang the American national anthem, so that's quite a cross spectrum, you and Metallica. Did you get to hang out with them in the green room? Or?
I got to say hi to them and took a picture with them, so that was pretty cool.
That would be really cool. So you're from Weyburn, Saskatchewan. You're self-described as sort of an unruly teenager. Is that true?
Well, yes. There was a time where I rebelled against my parents a little bit and ended up writing some songs about it.
So it was research, really, for your song career, right?
It was, yes.
And are you noticing now, because you're on The Bachelor, too, twice. In January, you performed one of your songs. Are you noticing now, because of The Bachelor and the national anthem, are you starting to get recognized a lot more?
Yeah, I definitely am. And I think a lot of it, too, like, I've been in Canada for a long time. I've been in the States living there for about 4 years now. And it's really been cool to see kind of like the fan base even out over, Canada and the U.S. because of some of those big opportunities like that.
And is it hard to reconcile, coming from Weyburn, Saskatchewan, to now where you're kind of getting recognized a lot more, you're getting really, really good coverage on radio stations and events like that. Is it hard to kind of connect to, your teenager a couple years ago in Weyburn? What's that transition been like?
It's definitely, I've just been growing up, and I went from, living in my small town to moving to the big city on my own. I had never lived on my own, and I just feel like that was I was constantly pushing myself like outside of my comfort zone, and so many great things have come from that. So I definitely feel like a completely different person now than I was back then.
So this podcast is called Uncover the Music, so we always end off with uncovering 5 truths about everybody we interview. The only catch is you have to swear to tell the truth, okay?
Okay.
There we go. Uncovered truths with Tennille Arts. Name of the first job you had, like non-music job.
I was an assistant dance teacher.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That was in Saskatchewan?
Yes.
And what kind of dance was it, like salsa or?
It was tap, jazz, and ballet.
So there's some students out there that say, hey, you know what? My teacher was Tennille Arts.
Yeah, they can say that.
Name of the first concert you attended.
I went to the Wilkinsons when I was like 8.
And where was that? Was that Saskatchewan or was it Calgary? Where did you go see them?
It was in Saskatchewan somewhere. I think it was Moose Jaw or something like that.
Name a movie or a TV show that you're kind of embarrassed to admit that you watch or you paid money to see. A really bad movie or bad TV show.
Ooh, bad movie or a bad TV show. Okay, well, this isn't really like embarrassing, but I guess I just had no idea that the Avengers were a thing. And so I went to like the last movie without knowing anything else that had happened. So that was quite embarrassing.
So were you asking people every 2 minutes, what is this guy doing?
Yeah, I was like, what's happening? And they're like, how have you never seen these before? Like a friend just invited me to go, and I'm like, sure. But yeah, had no clue.
Okay. But you going to go see more of them, or are you kind of done?
I think I'm done. Well, now I know the ending, so I think I'm done.
You saved yourself 10 years of movies, though, right?
I did, yeah.
Just skip to the end. Name a person, living or dead, that you would want to spend time at with a pint at the pub. Anybody you could come and have a pint with at the pub, living or dead. Who would it be?
Oh, man. I think it would be super cool to be able to chat with Johnny and June. Just be able to like ask them about their career and just what they've been through and everything. A lot of people say that, but how could you not, right? To have those two down for like an hour at think about the stories there, right? There's so many stories, and I feel like without social media back then, like there's so many things about them we probably have no idea about. So it'd be really cool to find that. I think it's kind of cool too that we don't have all of these
every single part of their life has been dissected. It's kind of neat to have a bit of mystery, isn't it?
Yeah, I like the mystery.
Last one, Uncovered Truths with Tennille Arts. Name of the first person you kissed.
I think his name was Brett Selby.
I guess he didn't make much of an impression if you can't really remember his name.
Well, no, I remember him, but I was just trying to think if he was the first. I think he was, yeah.
Does he feature in any of your songs at all, or?
He does not, because I think we were very young.
Good stuff. What's the best way for people to access your music? Is it Instagram, website? What's the best way for people to get your stuff?
I'm on Instagram all the time, so if people want to follow along there, I've got links and everything to all the music there.
It's Uncover the Music, Boots and Hearts edition. We're speaking with Jameson Rogers. Jameson, thank you very much for taking a few minutes for us.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me.
So you're described sort of as a rising star, but really it was about 10 years ago that you moved to Nashville. So do you think of yourself as a rising star or more somebody who's getting discovered?
Man, it's funny. So this is actually, I moved to Nashville 9 years ago this week. And it's funny. It's like, it feels like it's taken 9 years to get to the starting line. I mean, it's a grind in the beginning, in the early years, and I feel like I'm just now getting an opportunity with the record deal and tour, and so yeah, I'm just excited, yeah.
And you started as a songwriter primarily, right?
Yeah, I did. I've been writing in town since the beginning, and I've had some success as a songwriter here recently, so it's cool seeing the artist thing kind of take off as well.
Yeah, now, did somebody push you to say, look, you couldn't do songwriting and performing, or did you just decide that for yourself?
No, I mean, when I moved to town, I kind of wanted to be an artist, but I didn't know the work that it was going to take to, grow as an artist for me. And so songwriting is just kind of a way to get into a bunch of doors in Nashville. And so that's just kind of what I started. I tried to master first, and so now I'm trying to master the artist thing.
Basics first, right? You build the foundation.
Basics.
Yeah, and you're a very accomplished baseball player as well.
Yeah, I played a little baseball. I had the opportunity to play through junior college, and got recruited to play at a school in Memphis. And then when that road kind of came to an end, I picked the guitar up. I was a late bloomer with music.
So was there a point, was that decision kind of made for you that the baseball career wasn't going to work out, or was there a point where you said, I've got to choose between these two?
There was kind of a moment where I had to choose between the two. There was this music festival kind of thing that was going on in the middle of the season at the school when I was in Memphis, and talked to the coach about it, and he was like, didn't really feel good about me leaving for a whole week and missing some games. So I just kind of, that wasn't like, it just wasn't feeling, it felt like the end of the road for me in baseball anyway, and so I just kind of decided to take the new route.
Could be worse. You could be playing for the Baltimore Orioles, right?
Way too average to do that. I wasn't good enough to play. I wasn't good enough to play in the pros.
So you were on tour. You're on tour yourself, as but you were an opener for Luke Combs. What did you learn when you were on the road with Luke in terms of being a stage performer, in terms of being a performer in general?
Man, I got to watch Luke every night, and first of all, his fans were like the best fans you could possibly ask for, because they're singing all the album cuts like they've been on the radio, which is mind blowing. But yeah, watching Luke, the biggest thing I learned from Luke is you can be yourself, and it can work. You don't have to try and be somebody else. He's just a good old boy from North Carolina that wears a Columbia shirt, and people love him to death. And so that's the biggest thing I learned from him. Yeah.
Just be natural, right?
Yeah, be yourself.
So your song, Some Girls, 25 million, you came in June, 25 million spins, picked up on a whole bunch of stations, getting lots and lots of airplay. How long has that song been with you? Did you write that recently, or was this like one of the songs you had way back when you moved to Nashville?
Yeah, so this is actually a rare song I didn't even write. I put that song out a year and a half ago, and when you're coming up in Nashville over the years, you become buddies and brothers with so many amazing songwriters, and you're coming up in the trenches together, and you kind of share songs with each other over the years, and you hear it at writers' nights and, sitting around the house playing for each other. And I just told 3 of my best friends that wrote it, if nobody ever cut that song, I got to have it. And it fell through the cracks, and I got to record it.
So you kind of won the lottery on that one, eh?
I did. I'm glad it's the first single.
And is that song, in your vocabulary, in the sense that's the kind of song that you like to write? Is that part of the reason you kind of gravitated to it, or?
Absolutely. It just feels like something I would write, and I think fans feel that as well. It's definitely in the same ballpark as all my other stuff, so yeah.
And you're on tour yourself, and this tour ends with a sold-out show in Nashville. That must have been kind of surreal going from moving to Nashville a couple years ago, and now you're playing a sold-out show. What's that experience going to be like?
Oh, it's going to be. I mean, when you move to Nashville, you're just like, man, if I can ever play the Bridgestone Arena, or the Opry. And yeah, I think I'm going to get to play both of them before the year's over with. So it's just like, yeah, a lot of good things happening for me right now. Just feel I'm thankful.
And we always end off, we call this podcast Uncover the Music, so we try to uncover things about artists. And we always end off with uncovering 5 truths about everybody that interviews with us. The only condition is you have to swear to tell the truth. You up for it?
I'm up for it, yeah.
Great. Uncover truths with Jameson Rogers. First one, name of the first job you had, non-music job.
So my dad works at a little bitty small bank in Mississippi, and he got me a job there as a night processor. This was so I was like, I'd go in at like 6:30 at night and work till like 10 o'clock, and I would run all the checks that were written that day and make sure it didn't get jammed in the machine, and it would, like, I'm processing all the tapes and stuff from the tellers and stuff, so it was kind of a boring job.
It sounds like it might be a song in there somewhere.
Maybe somewhere, yeah.
First concert that you went to?
First concert was Garth Brooks at the Pyramid in Memphis, Tennessee.
That must have been a scene.
That was unreal.
Name a movie or a TV show that you're kind of embarrassed to admit that you like, a bad TV show or a bad movie.
Oh, man. I don't get to watch much TV these days. I'm trying to think. One that I'm ashamed of.
Not really ashamed, but you're like, wow, you watch that?
My girlfriend played Big Little Lies. Is that I think it's like a bunch of famous women actresses.
Yes.
I thought that was a pretty cool show. Yeah.
That's a good bad. A good bad.
Yeah.
Could you name? If you could invite any living person or dead person, anybody living or dead, to the pub for a pint, who would it be?
Elvis.
Good answer.
Yeah, Elvis for sure. Another Mississippi boy.
You can find out if he really faked his death, right?
Yeah.
And last one, name of the first person you kissed.
Lauren Carr.
Featuring any of your songs at all?
No. That was at the ballpark when I was in like 6th grade, so it was didn't break my heart too bad.
Okay. But she's out there saying, hey, you're getting a bit famous. She's like, I was that guy's first kiss.
Yeah, if she hears that, she's probably gonna die. I don't know. I hadn't talked to her in forever.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jameson Rogers. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you? Instagram, website? How do people access your music?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's all at Jameson Rogers. Website's jamesonrogers.com. Easy enough. And yeah.
Good luck in your show tonight, man. Thanks very much for taking time with us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
So to Uncover the Music, Boots and Hearts edition, behind the scenes with Owen Barrie. Thank you, Owen, for taking some time out for us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for chatting.
And thanks again for coming on, because we spoke to you a couple months, about 6 weeks ago, just about the build-up to Boots and Hearts, so we're glad to get you back on again.
Yeah. No, it was a great time. We put we had about four or five rehearsals last week, and we were good to go. We knew what we were doing. We jumped up there and did what we had to do.
Yeah, so you kicked off today on the front porch stage. Good set. And what was that experience like? Because Boots is a little bit different than a concert. You're kind of playing in front of this mini city, with the fair and everything. So how was that experience?
It was amazing, actually. I came not really sure of who's going to come, like how many people are going to show up, and I got there, and too many people to count, to say the least. I've had shows where there's 10 people out there. I'm like, 1, 2, you know what I mean?
And 5 of them are your friends.
Exactly. My mom's out there too, filling in the gaps. But no, it's so nice to be here and see all those people, people I've never even seen, and next thing you know, they're singing my songs.
And you brought a new song with you. Well, I guess about a week and a half you released Sounds of Home. Tell us a little bit about that song.
So that song actually is, I love that song. It's one of my favorite songs we ever did. And first time I ever went to Nashville, first day I got there, first session I did, I was with Jason Blaine and Alyssa Reed, and we wrote that song. And here I am ripping it up at Boots and Hearts. Nothing better than that.
So did you, were you looking ahead thinking, I'm going to be at Boots and Hearts? Were you timing that release to sort of coincide with, to have a couple of new features to show here at Boots and Hearts?
Yeah, we really wanted to have, that EP just had, it was planned to be before Boots and Hearts, the hope would be that, I'd show up and people would know them already, and it happened,
So did Jason, did they give you any advice? Anybody give you any advice before you came up here? Any artist friends give you a little bit of a tutorial or something?
Oh, tons of people. Man, all I heard was great stuff, and it's the most common thing I heard is like engage the audience as much as you can, and that's what I tried to do. And by the end of it, it was like I was, I'd stop singing and I'd look at them and then they'd finish the song for me. They wouldn't miss a single word.
They're doing a job for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So home for you is Toronto, which is not a huge country scene. I mean, there is a country scene there, but it's not, a go-to for country music. So tell us about getting started as a country music artist in Toronto, where there isn't a huge scene.
So since I was like 14, I always played country music. So I played guitar when I was 7. I always played country music, a bit of classic rock here and there. But when it came time to I said to myself, I want to start doing shows. I want to, see if I can do something with this. And I would just go to restaurants, send a few emails here or there. If I could get myself into a bar, I would. And wherever I could get a show, whether it was, 20 minutes or it was 2 hours, I'd sit there and I'd do whatever I could to make it happen. And after a little while, I picked up a few more shows, playing a few shows a week. And then I was actually playing up. My family's got a cottage up in Muskoka. And I would pick up shows around there, and instead of getting a summer job up there, whether it was like pumping gas, stuff like that, I wouldn't do that. I'd play my shows. And at one of the shows, the owner of Wax Records, the label I'm on, saw me, and he came up and talked to me, and here I am now.
So that was at a show in Muskoka?
Yes, sir.
It's interesting too, isn't it? Because Toronto, not a huge scene, but you just go half an hour outside of Toronto, and it's massive country fans everywhere, like right up here, right?
Oh yeah. And my mom my mom's from Alberta, so I spent a lot of my time out west, get a taste for the country music, and I think that's where
it's in your blood.
Yeah, it's definitely in my blood. I'll say that.
And playing here at Boots and Hearts, you're a singer, you're a songwriter, you're a guitarist as well. How do you sort of, when you're thinking about performing, how are you thinking about laying out your songs and laying out your instruments? What's sort of your thought process?
So I kind of, songs like Home, where it's, a little more upbeat. I'd rather, be out there having fun. I don't really want my guitar. I don't want to have to stand in one spot. So, I'll take the mic off. I'll run around for a bit, have a bit of fun. And, songs like, I have this song, Killing Time, and it's one of my favorite songs because it's, it's just me and my acoustic at the beginning. I'm playing my guitar. The people are just listening to me and that. And then next thing you know, the band comes in and all that. And, maybe I'll throw the guitar behind my back for a second, get up. But it really depends on the song. A slower song, something like Sounds of Home, where there is a lot of, guitar and stuff like that, I'll obviously play. And, yeah, And
you ended off saying, I think, maybe you can correct me if I'm quoting you incorrectly, but you said, I'm not much of a pop guy, but... So do you anticipate that maybe, I mean, you don't want to look too far down the road, but a lot of country artists have, branched and partnered into the pop arena, and you've got a sound, I think, that crosses that a little bit if you wanted it to. Is that some area you might think about down the road?
Depends on if I wrote any songs that I loved that were pop songs. It really just depends on the song, but man, if I can sing, I'll sing anything.
Good answer. And what have you learned? I mean, it's been, would you say, a whirlwind, or, a lot of growth at least over the last year and a half or so?
Totally. Especially, you learn different. Every friend I had is in university right now, and they're doing math, bit of writing essays and stuff.
Chemical engineering or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Smart people stuff. Anyways, I can't say I've learned anything that has to do with any of that, but when it comes to, like dealing with setting your own sessions up, getting yourself places on time, stuff like that, making your own schedule and working for yourself, I've learned everything I could. I'm still learning things every day. Like I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it, You're
going to the Musical University of Experience, right?
Exactly. Get a little taste for the lifestyle.
So what are you looking forward to? Summer's almost done, but rest of the year, what are you looking forward to in terms of song-wise, recording-wise? What's going on?
Really looking forward to. I'm hoping to get back to Nashville sometime soon and do some writing. So I'm really looking forward to something like that. Looking forward to meeting new people to write with. I'm always trying to write and.
Anybody here that you've thought about maybe, hey, can I go over and talk to them? Or?
Everyone. I've known like a decent amount of the artists here anyway, so it's like the people that I do know I've written with anyway, so I'm just like, any chance I get, I'll write with anyone.
Awesome. Well, I think the future's very bright for you, and everybody was singing your songs here, probably first of many occasions that's going to happen, so we wish you all the best, and thanks for coming back on the podcast with us, Owen Barney.
Thanks for having me.
Uncover the Music is an exclusive podcast produced by barrieuncovered.ca. Subscribe to Uncover the Music on Spotify, iTunes, and wherever else you get podcasts. And find out more about us at barrieuncovered.ca on Facebook and on Instagram. The handle is @barrieuncovered.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.